The 1969 U.S. Tennis Open is held at the West Side Tennis Club in Forest Hills, New York. Competitive tennis players travel over 50,000 miles a year in international tennis competition.
My confidence doesn't really gain momentum as I go along. I was very, very confident about 5 minutes after I won, and then right now I don't have any at all.
Most of the tennis players are from the public parks, from a public park background. I think this is where you're going to get your top players, and I think that the country clubs recognize this, and certainly many of our racial barriers have been broken down.
Well, I think it's great, great athletes, great audience, and beautiful weather on the West Side Tennis Club.
I think that someday we will have carpets or some other kind of surface rather than grass.
I think tennis will become a spectator sport in this country, more so than it has been in the past.
Changes that we need down the line are a better facility, better parking, more courts, and better protection for the courts in the event of rain.
Laver is without a doubt the best player.
He's like the leader in the RBI department in baseball. He comes through in the clutch points. Yes, well, it's always difficult when you play Rod Laver.
The tournament having been postponed due to rain, players and spectators anxiously await the sun to appear. Spearheading the action is South Africa's brilliant tournament director, Owen Williams. Thousands of American corporate dollars ride on Williams' experience in directing international tennis tournaments.
Yes, we have been rained out for 2 days running now, and we have full houses coming up over the weekend to try and keep the fans happy today, to satisfy the $60,000 to $70,000 worth of advance bookings. We decided to call in a helicopter, and fundamentally our main worry, or the main worry of Captain Mike Gibson, the referee, is the Roche-Gonzalez match, which is keeping us 1 day extra. And I think with the sunshine coming out now, plus the draft that we're having on the court, that it's going to do the trick, and we'll have that worrisome Gonzalez-Roche match out of the way today.
Soon the rain clouds disappear, and the U.S. Open officials decide to proceed with the important fourth round. In 1923, this stadium was erected at Forest Hills. During the past 3 years, all previous spectator records have been broken with an attendance of over 80,000. It is considered the tennis capital of the Western world. Pancho Gonzalez is playing his 21st campaign as a pro. Once, his serve was the fastest in the game. He ruled the pros for a decade between 1953 and 1962, winning the U.S. pro title 8 times. Tony Roche, one of the youngest players at 23, won the Italian and French amateur titles 2 years ago and the U.S. doubles last year. Tony Roche from Australia wins the fourth round. Open tennis, a relatively new concept in America, offers exciting innovations. The 1969 U.S. Open combines amateurs and professionals competing for the largest stake ever offered, $125,000 in total prize money. Traditionally, experts have felt that in open competition, the pros would prove superior to the amateurs. However, a few of the brightest amateur stars have turned in stunning upsets.
I just have to get myself worked up when I get on the court. You know, after you hit the first ball, the first game's over, then you're in there. You don't really think about playing with confidence. You just, you sort of go through the motions. You react by instinct, by habit. Once you start thinking about whether you feel like you're going to win, you're in trouble. You just have to go out and just react, that's all.
Well, the contract professionals have a guarantee so that if they don't win a match, they know that they're at least going to make X number of dollars a year. That, in a sense, is a little more of a escape clause if they play badly. But again, the players have the opportunity to play where they want. They have the opportunity to play in tournaments where there are not as many tough professionals, contract professionals, playing all the time. So I think it's it kind of evens itself out. Hopefully they'll stop this ridiculous distinction between the two and just call everybody players or everybody professionals.
In the men's singles quarterfinals, Tony Roach defeats Butch Buchholz from the United States 6-1, 9-7, 5-7, and 6-0. Rod Laver from Australia competes against Roy Emerson, a fellow Australian. In a close match, Laver polishes off Emerson 4-6, 8-6, 6-1, 6-4, and 13-11. Narrowing the competition in the women's singles, Margaret Court from Australia competes against Virginia Wade from Great Britain. Margaret Court is several times a winner of the 4 big titles. Virginia Wade displays an outstanding volley and serve. Margaret Court wins 7-5, 6-0. In the final event of the women's singles, Nancy Ritchie and Margaret Court play it out for the championship. Nancy Ritchie, the queen of American tennis in 1968, won 9 of her 12 tournaments, losing no matches or sets to sister Americans. Margaret Court wins to become the new United States Open tennis champion. The Vice President of the United States, Spiro T. Agnew, presents the U.S. Open Championship trophy to Margaret Court.
Thank you very much, Mr. Coleman. It's indeed an honor to be here for this purpose and to have the pleasure of having my family, and particularly my daughters, whom I'm trying to convince to become active tennis enthusiasts, that this is as great a game as it is. I want to congratulate Mrs. Court on her win. It was a magnificent match. I think the key part of it came around that long game in the second set. at 3-1 when the lead went back and forth. It's a pleasure to see the quality of the tennis we've seen here today. Thank you very much, Mr. Coleman.
Mr. Alistair Martin, President of the USLTA, will present the other prizes to Mrs. Court and Nancy Ritchie.
Mr. Vice President, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present the trophy of $6,000 to the winner, Margaret. Congratulations. Now we have a gallant runner-up, Nancy Ritchie. Mr. Vice President, I'd like to present the runner-up, Ms. Nancy Ritchie. Nancy, I think although you didn't win this particular match, I think we're all proud of your gallant effort. I think it's a terrific performance for an American lady. Now it gives me great pleasure to present you the runner-up prize of $3,000.
So slippery.
The champion, Margaret Court, discusses her future travels in tennis competition.
We'll be going out to Fort Lauderdale for about 10 days holiday, and then probably on to Los Angeles, Berkeley, Las Vegas. We're not too sure yet, but I think I may have 3 more tournaments in America yet.
As the men's singles draw closer to the championship event, John Newcomb competes against Tony Roach. Roach wins 3-6, 6-4, 4-6, 6-3, and 8-6. This win puts him 1 step closer to the championship match. In the remaining semi-final event of the men's singles, Arthur Ashe, America's most prominent player, meets Rod Laver, world champion from Australia. Arthur Ashe has led his country's players by winning the National Amateur and U.S. Open titles in 1968. He restored America's self-confidence in tennis by becoming the first American to win our nationals since 1955. Ashe had this to say concerning the condition of the court.
The one thing you do on a court like this is, on a slow grass court, is once you get the ball in play, you usually play inside the baseline. Because, first of all, the balls are very big, and after 2 games, the balls get big with grass stains and with moisture. So you play inside the baseline to guard against a short ball.
This is the first year the Slam has been entirely composed of open tennis tournaments. Rod Laver competing for his 2nd Grand Slam, the Championship of Australia, France, Wimbledon, and the U.S. exhibits an impressive volley. Midway in the match, the play is postponed on account of darkness. The next day, play is resumed. Laver wins 8-6, 6-3, 14-12. In 1962, Rod Laver won his first Grand Slam as an amateur, equaling the 1938 feat of another great redhead, Don Budge. Defeated, Arthur Ashe reflects on Rod Laver's competitive style.
His serve is just better than average. It's not comparable to, say, Newcomb's or mine, or even Roach's. But, well, he's a lot faster than Roach. He's not quite as strong. He has a little more variety than Roach, and he has a better maneuverability.
As Rod Laver and Tony Roach prepare to meet for the World Championship, the crowds enjoy the sporting atmosphere of the U.S. Tennis Open. The spectators and tennis personalities alike discuss American tennis and its future.
Well, when you play on grass on a grass court, the serve and volley is the main weapon. Ground strokes are very seldom used. But I think the European clay court players are very adept at hitting ground strokes. I think the American players suffer from the fact that we don't play on a slow court enough, and consequently it's important to get into the net, and especially on grass. You just try not to let the ball bounce on the grass.
Well, I think that the grass court circuit is getting less and less because of the maintenance and so forth and so on. A lot of these clubs are going out of business because it's hard to keep a grass court up. But the grass court is being replaced by the synthetics and the cement courts and the lake holes and the so forth. So we're still not getting back to the clay courts like they play in Europe.
Well, in other words, the only way really you can get back to ground strokes would be to take some of the pressure out of the ball, and so that the big serve and volley isn't the weapon that it is today.
I don't want to see it happen like that. I don't want to see it happen like that.
You wouldn't like to see ground strokes back in the game?
Play the same as it usually is. I mean,
one thing that since tennis is going to be on television as much as we hope in the future, how do we develop tennis personalities?
I feel that maybe the rules should be changed somewhat to allow a player to express his feelings out there. I know Gonzalez expresses his feelings out there, and I think that's what makes his personality.
I definitely think the players are becoming a lot more well-known. They're certainly becoming sports personalities that maybe will not match Arnold Palmer, Joe Namath, but certainly that with the influx in tennis interest, I think that the names are getting bigger, and I think one of the reasons for this is the fact that our prize money has increased a great deal. I mean, people now winning $16,000 for a tennis tournament, that's interesting to people. Before it was $2,000 and $3,000. So I think that we are starting to build names, and I think that certainly we have enough personalities in the sport of tennis that you can develop characters out of these players, and I definitely think that we have a great product to sell. It's just a matter of getting somebody to sell it.
What did you think of Arthur Ashe's play? Everyone was very upset.
Well, they saw 2 games, and it's pretty hard to come out with something like that going against you and then pull your game up and bail it out. It's a shame that they couldn't have finished that next to last set yesterday. It had been a better test, I think, for Arthur. Yes. He's a great player. I saw him at Salisbury.
Well, I think it's the greatest game for competition, sport, clean living,
Have you converted any colleagues?
Oh, yes, we have some colleagues who play and enjoy it very much, and I love it. I play all the time. Played out here at the West Side this morning and hope to play until I'm 90, if the Lord permits.
Do you think this is a successful Open then?
Very successful.
Considering the weather, very successful.
Super successful Open. Very. And you notice the seating. They all came out exactly right, which was quite surprising. I expected a few more upsets, and there were, actually, besides Tommy and Cliff. In the opening, there were a couple others, but it went very true to form.
I think the youth is becoming interested, and I think even more important that the parents are becoming interested. They can now see that Rod Laver is going to make $150,000 on a tennis court this year, and maybe another $150,000 off the court. So you're talking about financial stability for a youngster, and I think this interests a parent. And instead of handing the child a football or a basketball, they might say, hey, you know, why don't you try tennis?
The final men's, well, I'm just hoping we have a really great final, that's all.
Rod Laver in the final singles championship match meets Tony Roach. The match, originally scheduled for Sunday, is now played on Monday due to several postponements. Therefore, the attendance is not as large. Tony Roach, playing on 3 consecutive days without a rest, displays an energetic volley. Laver had this to say concerning his opponent.
I'm used to using spikes, but maybe Tony isn't. He does have a small muscle that I'm thinking maybe has tightened up on him, and he didn't want to use the spikes in fear to tighten up completely on him. So that, I guess, was the reason.
With 1 game left to win, Rod Laver's chance for the Grand Slam becomes a reality. Laver defeats Roach, winning the 1969 U.S. Tennis Open. Tony Roach reflects on Rod Laver's victory.
Yes, well, it's always difficult when you play Rod Laver. You know when you go out there that you're going to have to play exceptionally well, and he's going to have an off day for you to win.
Now if Tony Roach would please come up. We have a little something there. I have a little pocket money for you here in the amount of $8,000. And I also have a little bill clip to keep your pocket money in. Please don't lose it before you get home.
The most important event, the men's singles, proves conclusively that Rod Laver is the greatest player to date in international tennis competition. The following words, written by Sir Henry Newbolt, is symbolic of competitive tennis. To set the cause above renown, to love the game beyond the prize, to honor while you strike him down, the foe that comes with fearless eyes.
I'm very happy to have won it.